Welcome to Long COVID Radical Self-Care, where I provide simple, non-medical tips and tools to help you on your healing journey. Today I want to talk about dealing with people who don't believe in long COVID or are skeptical that you're sick. Long COVID brings a lot of challenges into your life. There are the physical ones, the shortness of breath, the fatigue, the heart palpitations, the headaches, and the myriad of other symptoms that vary from person to person. And there are cognitive challenges for a lot of us as well. Brain fog, difficulty concentrating, memory issues. As if that isn't challenging enough, there's another more insidious challenge. The fact that some people around you, even some doctors, may not understand what you're going through, robbing you of the support you desperately want. Their skepticism or downright denial of your condition adds insult to injury. But maybe there's another way of looking at it that will empower you. There's a unique challenge that comes from having a condition that a segment of the population doesn't believe exists, or is at least skeptical of. You can't see the injuries caused by long COVID the way you can see someone with a cast from a broken leg or a headscarf marking hair loss from chemotherapy, although I did lose a lot of my hair with long COVID. But generally, most of us look pretty healthy despite how we feel. Some people may say outright that they don't believe long COVID is a legitimate condition. Others may just roll their eyes when you talk about your symptoms or give other subtle clues that they question the degree of your disability. You may think that they think you're faking it. But here's the truth of the matter. You can't change what other people think. You may be able to influence it a little bit, but that generally takes a lot of energy, and your energy needs to go toward healing right now. Here's the way I look at it. Everybody is on their own life path, and their opinions are based on where they are in their path at the moment. I haven't walked in their shoes, and they haven't walked in mine. People's opinions change and evolve over time. Charles Fillmore, the influential founder of Unity Churches, used to share his teachings with the caveat, "I reserve the right to change my mind." He knew that his understanding changed over time. So why do we worry about what others think? Why do we let them live rent-free in our mind? Why do we try to contort ourselves into the image of what someone else thinks we should be, whether it's a romantic partner, a parent, a boss, a friend? What if the fact we got this condition that a lot of people don't understand wasn't an accident? What if this particular challenge, getting something people don't understand, was put on our path for a reason? How do we discover the reason? Let's dig into that. Think about your own situation. Who doesn't believe you, and how does it make you feel? Frustrated? Angry? Powerless? Invalidated? Do you behave any differently because of what other people think or what you think they think? Do you try to convince them? Do you treat yourself any differently because they don't believe you? Do you ever do things that are not healthy for you in order to please others? I remember hearing once that when we get upset at someone else, if we really examine it, we often find that we're not really upset at them. We're upset at how we are in their presence. Is there someone in your life that triggers you? You probably have lots of colorful words to describe them. But what if you shifted your focus for a minute and examined how you feel in their presence? Maybe angry and frustrated are at the top of the list, but dig deeper. Do you feel weak, lazy, stupid? Does it bother you that you don't stand up for yourself? Are you angry at yourself for even letting this person in your life? Are you secretly afraid that what they've said is true? Does it trigger something that happened as a child that made you feel less worthy? If you knew that you were a spark of divinity, whole and perfect in your own way, then how would you relate to that person? When someone is angry, judgmental, unfair, or selfish, that's their business. How it affects you is your business. Don't give your power away. This lesson first came to light for me a long time ago. I was driving along an Ontario highway in February. A snowstorm had started. The driving conditions weren't great, but they were manageable. But as I reached the south side of Lake Ontario, the conditions quickly became much more treacherous because of lake effect snow, and a combination of snow, slush, and ice covered the road. I slowed down. I didn't have my snow tires on. Other drivers were apparently less concerned than me. Several passed me aggressively after tailing me closely. They probably had snow tires. Feeling the pressure, I increased my speed just slightly, hoping the driver behind me would back off. He didn't. All of a sudden, my car hit a patch of black ice and slid off the road toward the ditch on the right-hand side. I braced myself, but instead of sliding into the ditch, it spun around and went back across the highway, through the safety wire and into the center ditch. I still don't know how I didn't hit other cars on the busy highway as I careened across two busy lanes. When I came to a stop, my windshield was in pieces all around me. The snow was blowing in my face and I couldn't open my door. I waited for one of the cars behind me to stop and help me out, but none did. The car that had been tailing me did not stop. They continued on their way. As I waited for police and a tow truck, I saw that 3 other cars had spun out ahead of me within half a mile. I secretly hoped they were the cars that had rushed past me. The police temporarily closed the highway shortly afterwards and towed everyone out and sanded the road. That evening at home, as I nursed my sore neck and back, I reflected on what had happened and realized that while others may try to impact my decisions, they aren't the ones to live with the consequences. I am. I had made the mistake of worrying about what others thought of my speed instead of maintaining the slow speed that I knew was safest for me. Have you ever done something like that? Ignored what was right for you in order to suit someone else? Afraid of being judged harshly? I've been on the other side of the judgment game as well. I've judged other people's situations and later found myself in a similar situation with a new understanding for what they went through. Now I make a concerted effort to practice compassion instead of judgment. It's a work in progress. Have you ever judged anyone else's health claims or their life choices? Most of us can look back onto our own past and appreciate how much we've grown and changed over the years. Others deserve the same opportunity. Life is a classroom. Nobody else knows what is right for you, and you don't know what's right for anyone else. Nobody has had exactly the same life experiences that you've had, and no one has the same life path you have. The doctor who doesn't seem to understand you is on their own growth path too. So why do we give other people more credit than we give ourselves? Because we don't have enough faith in ourselves. How do we get more faith? How can you be more sure about what's right for you? One way is to meditate more or journal more, to become more attuned to your own needs and your own path. Your inner guidance is often referred to as that still small voice within, but as you tune in and listen to it more, the louder it gets and you become more confident in what's right for you. Funny thing happens when you stand fully in your light and your power and live authentically and do what's right for you without worrying about what others think. The people around you will be inspired to stand in their light more fully and live their lives more authentically too. Instead of them holding you down, you lift them up through your courage. What would you do differently in your life, particularly with your health, if you didn't care what other people think? Can you say to yourself, I'm right where I need to be? Don't compare yourself to others. It doesn't matter if someone else gets married first or has a bigger house or has more money. Your journey is nobody else's. I want to leave you today with a quote by Bianca Sparacino that I came across that I found really powerful. She writes, You're going to realize it one day that happiness was never about your job or your degree or being in a relationship. Happiness was never about following in the footsteps of all those who came before you. It was never about being like others. One day you're going to see it, that happiness was always about the discovery, the hope, the listening to your heart and following it wherever it chose to go. Happiness was always about being kinder to yourself. It was always about embracing the person you were becoming. One day you will understand that happiness was always about learning how to live with yourself, that happiness was never in the hands of other people. It was always about you. It was always about you. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button below. It'll help me get this message out to others who would benefit from hearing it. Until next time, be kind to yourself and each other.